What an exciting game that was, and just two really good teams.
Awesome. Yeah, they went the distance.
And more.
All right, U.S. Bank brings us stories each week of inspirational athletes who amaze us in all sorts of ways.
Allie Williams has the story of a Peninsula baseball player honoring his grandparents by creating awareness around an important moment in history.
Evan Scheiber has a knack for knowledge, but his work in Japanese American history stems from a very important family connection. Curiosity. It drives our passion for knowledge and growth. For Evan Scheiber, it also creates purpose. Evan is a senior at Crystal Springs Uplands School in Hillsborough. He never stops learning, whether he's in the classroom or on the field.
When you're a catcher, everything from like pitch sequencing to pitch framing, like being a base runner, trying to figure out pitchers' timing so you can see on them hitting. It's all these mind games.
Evan's curiosity has also paved a way for this catcher to dive into his family's history. He currently volunteers at the Japanese American Museum of San Jose. Evan's work with the museum is sparked on a very personal level.
I am a third-generation Japanese American. Evan is fourth generation. And both of my parents, his grandparents, were interned in internment camps during World War II.
When the 120,000 Japanese Americans were told to be evacuated from the West Coast, there were 15 assembly centers where they were temporarily housed until the 10 concentration camps were being built.
Whether you're an American citizen or not, was sent to the internment camps. As his grandmother, I find it very important that he know our history.
Grandfather Roy's family was sent from Yuba County to Tule Lake, then to another camp in Colorado. Grandmother Miriam's family was forced to San Bruno. They were later transferred to a camp in Utah. Evan's grandparents still stay active in the civil rights community. Evan has a passion for history, government, and policy. While the pandemic forced the Japanese American Museum of San Jose to temporarily shut its doors, Evan is working to set up a virtual tour.
The museum tries to cover most of Japanese American history. One of my favorite parts of the museum is they mocked up a barrack from Tule Lake. All the sort of cabinets in bed were actually taken from the camps by families. If you looked at some of the cabinets, they were made out of cardboard. That was them just sort of making what they could have out of what little they had.
Our mission is really simple. It's CPS, to collect, preserve, and share the Japanese American history, culture, and arts with the Greater Bay Area.
Evan hopes more people take the time to learn about the history and impact of Japanese Americans. Evan believes learning about our past can help make a difference in our future for people of all backgrounds.
I think that you need to not only sort of learn about history and what's happened in the past, but also sort of the circumstances. There are a lot of sort of similarities in the, xenophobia and just general hysteria that can be created around immigrant groups. That sort of has existed throughout all of America's history, and Japanese American incarceration was just one example of that happening. So using that example is really good to apply to the way that we treat immigrants today.
I think it's very important for Evan and the generation of people to take the initiative to study and to understand and to spread the word.
History has a tendency to repeat itself. And this story is specifically about the Japanese and Japanese Americans, but I think in today's light of what's going on, it's relevant to all of us.
Evan will continue learning and sharing both his family heritage and the knowledge he's gathered along the way to be a positive influence in the days ahead. Evan will continue his curiosity at Stanford University next year, where he will keep working to have an impactful role in a better future. Aubrey and Robert, back to you.